Anyway, let's with no further ado, let's get into it here. So the first question I had was, how many chickens do you need? I guess it depends on how many. Put it another way, how many eggs does one chicken produce?
Sure. Well, after they're about 6 months old, female chickens can produce about an egg a day.
Wow.
So yeah. So and they do that during the time of year when it's physiologically reasonable to do so. That is more during the spring and summer, but you can manipulate that with artificial light. So if you decide that you really need a certain number of eggs per day, then you can keep your birds on lights year round. People kind of manipulate that one way or another, but I personally keep my birds on natural light. They sometimes will lay, it depends on the year and the age of the birds. Sometimes we still get eggs into the winter.
Okay.
But usually, yeah.
Does so let's say I have my coop set up so that the chicken thinks it's optimal laying conditions all year long. Does that wear the chicken out faster? Like, does that reduce the amount of time the chicken is productive?
Yes. If chickens laying is optimized by management practices, and this is what they do in the commercial industries, then the birds tend to kind of burn out after a few years. So they may keep laying, but just more sporadically, and just the egg quality may be a little bit different. Eggs tend to get bigger as hens age, but
Really?
Yeah, but high-end restaurants and that sort of thing are more interested in the smaller eggs because they have different flavor. With birds are younger, they put a little more metabolic energy into the eggs, and the eggs are a little bit different quality. I want to address one other thing here, and that is that I'm not sure about Canada because I live in the United States, but in the United States, many, many towns have ordinances. Towns and cities have ordinances that dictate how many birds you can have. And you should check that out before you get involved. It's really good to find out, can I even have any birds here in my area? And before you even think about, well, do I have the room? And all those other issues, please try to find out if it's legal. And then one more interesting point about that is that in the US, most towns, the limit is about 6 birds and no roosters. And so do you need a rooster? Not if you just want eggs. Hens lay eggs without having a rooster around. They don't need, physiologically, they do not need the rooster. The rooster is important, of course, if you want to raise a certain breed of birds and you want to raise chicks. So yes, then you need a rooster. But you may not want to do that in most towns. And you don't have to have the rooster, and you don't have to buy male chicks if you don't want to, because they can actually do what they call sorting the chicks by gender the day they're born. And sometimes some places can do it while they're still in the egg.
Wow.
So if you just want to buy a half dozen female chicks, it's possible to do that when you order them from a commercial brooder.
So I get a half dozen chickens. So once those chickens are up and running and they're fully operational, that means I'm getting 6 eggs a day.
Yeah, you could. And then if you're managing everything right. So it's really important that people not overestimate how many birds they need to get, because you may be. It's kind of like giving away zucchini. I know in the summer, zucchini tend to. You come home and somebody put zucchini in your mailbox. It's like, oh, please, Anyway, so you got to be a little careful about what you do, and don't, however, as they say, don't count your chicks before they hatch. If you order chicks from a company, they will ship them usually as day-old chicks, and they may be vaccinated if that's what you want them to do, etc. Don't order too few either, because there's a fine art of raising these little guys once you get them, and you need to be pretty careful. You may lose as much as 15 to 20% of your birds in the first few weeks of having them. That's not actually that unusual.
I guess you're
So
getting babies mailed to you in a box. So,
yeah, I know.
so
Yeah.
yeah. That
Oh,
makes sense.
yeah, there's some risks to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are lots of details about that I'm not going to go into, but I just, as a general idea, really think carefully about how many you need. Order a little bit more than you actually think you need to have. Maybe you only need 4. We've had 4 birds for a couple of years now, and 4 birds is plenty for us. But really plan it out carefully.
I think like we eat 2 dozen eggs a week. My family, that's 4 of us, 2 adults and 2 kids. My wife really doesn't eat eggs. I mean, rarely. Whereas my kids and I eat at least, I would say 4 mornings a week. We have 2 eggs for breakfast, 4 days a week. So yeah, if I wanted, like, I guess I would need somewhere between 4 and 6, I guess. That's still a lot of eggs. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, and they don't stop on Sunday,
4
so
times 7 is 28.
that's right. There you go.
So, yeah, exactly. So that's 28 eggs a week, which is a
Yeah.
little bit more than 2 dozen. So yeah,
Mhm.
fun. You must eat a lot of eggs or have a lot of friends.
Yeah, use them in cooking and that sort of thing.
There's
Yeah,
that.
it's nice. They're a really nice, healthy food source. You have a lot of control over the quality of that food source, and it's especially, I'm sure, when you have kids, it's just a nice part of kind of natural awareness of natural living. Where does your food come from?